want to go to heaven, but none of us want to die. We all want change, but we don't want to change. These are some of the typical contradictions we find in human society. Another one concerns the messy process of innovation. In Japan, which is a highly risk-averse culture, there is a strong contradiction at play here. Not tolerating mistakes, but expecting innovation from our people are completely opposing ideas. Innovation requires mistakes. That is how we learn and how we progress. If we punish people for mistakes, and if we're coming down heavily on them, they learn the best way to avoid trouble is to do nothing. We get to deal with people who take no decisions, take no actions, adopt no new processes. Not fun. Japan usually offers little in the way of upside reward for innovation or trying something new, but has a lot of downside for those who fail. If we want to see innovations produced by our teams, we need a different way of managing people. Do you know how to do that? Welcome back. This weekly edition every Tuesday of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan and best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery. We are bringing the show to you from our High Performance Center in Akasaka in Minato-ku, the business center of Tokyo. Why the cutting edge? In this show, we are looking at the critical areas for success in business in Japan. We want to help advance everyone's thinking so that we can be at the forefront, the cutting edge of how to flourish here in this market. Before we get into this week's topic, here is what caught my attention lately. About 50% of securities and 40% of all financial assets in Japan are expected to be held by those aged 70 and over by the year 2035, according to the Mizuho Research Institute. What could go wrong with this picture? Currently, there are about 5 million people in Japan suffering from dementia, and they are holding $1.3 trillion in wealth, according to the Daiichi Research Institute. That is the equivalent to more than a quarter of the size of the overall economy in Japan. Let me repeat that. 1/4 of the entire Japanese economy, folks. The finance industry and the government would love to see this stockpile of wealth being actively invested. Instead, it just stays idle. Various banks and securities companies are looking at ways to get this wealth into investment products that enable those with dementia to put their money in trusts or bequeath assets at an earlier stage. With the aging society here in Japan, this problem will only grow in scale. In other news, Panasonic has announced that their joint venture with Tesla to produce batteries is finally yielding returns. President Kazuhiro Tsuga said, "We will be in a position to deliver profits at a very early stage." Panasonic's investment in the battery gigafactory in Nevada will exceed $1.8 billion. Panasonic produces cells which Tesla uses to make battery packs for its electric vehicles. Panasonic could use some good news. This is episode number 58, and we are talking about creativity needs mistakes to be allowed in Japan. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. Doing more, better, fast with less screams out for innovation. This could be at the incremental level, a kaizen approach of continuous improvement, or it could be breakthrough leaps that forge new businesses. Either way, there is a dynamic in play here between processes and people that is critical for our success. How much scope for error can we allow in the creative process? At this practical level, this is really asking how many and how huge are the mistakes you will tolerate to achieve idea creation. This is on you and your career, by the way. Managers manage processes, leaders also manage processes, but they have an additional important role to build people, especially people who have ideas on making things better, making the business better. In any workplace, there will be some degree of compliance required around regulations, laws, safety concerns, etc. If these are overly tight, then there's usually not a great deal of tolerance for errors. If you're in the finance area after the Lehman shock, you know how all innovation and risk-taking ground to a complete halt as companies recoiled from risk. If it is a complete laissez-faire environment with no controls, then we will wind up in court and possibly in jail. Somewhere between compliance and chaos is the sweet spot of the environment most suitable for our people to be developed to become innovative, idea-generating machines. By its very nature, any change requires us to step out of our comfort zone because we are either doing something old in a new way or something completely new. Getting people to step out of their comfort zones is just fraught with difficulty, especially in Japan. It is even more so when we are requiring a more creative approach or when we are seeking to create something completely new. How do we encourage people to come up with new and creative ideas? We have some classics in this regard. Standing in front of the whiteboard, marker, pen at the ready, and looking expectantly at the audience for their ideas is probably one of the most common and one of the worst methods in captivity. To totally top it off, saving time by critiquing the idea flow as it emerges is a guaranteed 100% innovation killer. Take a good look around your own organisation and check how your culture encourages the pursuit of ideas. How do you do your brainstorming down at your shop? What if your actual technique may be harming the idea creation environment? If this is the case, let me know, because we have a great system for producing ideas from the whole team and not just the usual noisy three who usually dominate the airwaves. Is there a way forward? Find out more when we come back from the break. If you want to be successful as a leader, do the Leadership Training for Managers course. All companies need people who can both manage and lead. Leading people screams out for real skills in communication, dealing with all different types of people, being excellent at innovation, planning, delegation, handling mistakes, doing performance reviews really well, and inspiring and motivating the team. Do the Leadership Training for Managers course now in either Japanese or English. If you want to sell more and do it more easily, do the Sales Advantage course. If you can't build trust, no sale. Can't design excellent questions to understand the client's needs, no sale. Can't present the solution convincingly, no sale. Can't handle objections properly, no sale. Can't close, no sale. Master the sales process by doing the Sales Advantage course now in either Japanese or English. Welcome back. In the messy process of innovation, there will be mistakes. Accepting this is, in theory, pretty easy. But what about confronting it in practice when you are the one responsible because you are in charge? What is the environment for reporting mistakes or problems? Usually, the boss finds out about the trouble last, after everyone has done a sterling job to cover it up. I saw this when I worked at the Shinsei Bank. Staff selling financial products to wealthy investors would make small mistakes from a compliance point of view. They would try and hide them, but eventually the problems would emerge. Instead of receiving a reprimand for making a small mistake, they got fired for trying to hide the error. The truth only emerges when the issue can't be hidden anymore. Why is that? It very much depends on the culture you have created. A workplace recording many violations of procedure and, well, one reporting very few will be looked at differently on paper down at headquarters. The many incidents location will seem to indicate a poor compliance environment and, by extension, your poor leadership. In fact, it may be the other way around. The workplace reporting few issues may be magicians at hiding bad stuff, and the other may be one where mistakes are encouraged as part of the learning process. What is the situation in your company? Are people hiding stuff through fear, or are they encouraged to admit mistakes and learn from them? Constantly encouraging ideas and experimentation, but also faithfully recording errors for root cause analysis as part of the creative process could be seen as leadership failure when judged from the number of incidents. I believe we need to look past the numbers to what type of environment the leader has created. How we celebrate failure, how we ride the edge of the razor between compliance and crazy, and how we deal with mistakes is being very carefully observed by the whole team. Everyone is watching you for your reaction to errors. If there's a trust environment where mistakes are accepted as part of the creative change process and ideas are not critiqued as they emerge, then the team will feel safe to suggest their ideas. Leaders who can build this type of environment are treasures. Is this your current reality? In Japan, unfortunately, this is a rarity still. The no mistake mentality is actually holding the economy back because it just encourages total timidity. Mistakes are part and parcel of the innovation process. There is no getting around that. Nothing will change until the leaders of the business start to think differently about the type of environment they need to create to see creativity thrive. If you look around you and all you see is a blame culture and rapid retribution for failure, start praying your competitors haven't worked out the balance needed between mistakes and innovation. If they have, over time, they will win and you will lose. This is a zero-sum game. Someone will come up with best practice, best ideas, and best execution. May as well be you. Action steps. 1, check whether the balance between killer compliance and free-form creative in your company is at the right level. Is your brainstorming technique an idea deleter, not an idea creator because of the way you're doing it? 3, are you encouraging people to come out of their comfort zones and take risks, adopt new methods and think differently? 4, is reporting mistakes seen as a guaranteed formula for being punished so that everyone keeps busy trying to hide them? 5, are you developing an idea generation environment which is going to give you an edge over the opposition, or are you slowly but surely losing the innovation war? The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show is here to help you succeed in Japan. Subscribe on YouTube. Share with your family, friends, and colleagues. Become a regular. Thank you for watching this episode, and remember, hit the subscribe button. Our website details are on screen now. enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. It's awesome value, and so you should check it out. In episode 59, we're talking about the best way to prepare for your presentation. Find out more about that next week. So, yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Please join me for the next episode of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. We are here to help you, and we have only one direction in mind for you and your business, and that is up